Good morning, children. Welcome to your social studies class. In today's class, we are going to discuss a new chapter. The name of the chapter is The Early Man. The Early Man is the name of the chapter. Now, children, you should know that the way you are seeing yourself, your friends, your family, your neighborhood, everything was not like this many years ago. Everything was a bit different thousands and thousands of years ago. So, today we are going to learn about that ancient time, the time when the life of human was totally different from today's life. So, let's start. First of all, the life of the early man was very difficult. There was no house or market or any school at that time. They had to walk. Every time they had to go somewhere. And there was no electricity, no fan, no fridge. So everything was completely different. So let's start the discussion about the early man. The first point, lived in caves, forests. As I already told you that at that time there was no house or market or any road. There was no village, no town. So the early man lived like animals in the forest, and they preferred to live in the caves. The next point, drew pictures on the walls of the cage. At that time, early human, they hunted some animals to get their food. They saw the rains, the sunrise, the sunset, etc. And the early man tried to draw them on the walls of the cave. They used stones and they tried to carve the picture on the walls of the caves. And later we have found them and we have discovered how their life was. Now, ate raw fruits, meat. As you have already understood, the early man could not cook. They could not cook like us. We can cook various kinds of delicious food and we can enjoy them. But for the early men, there was nothing. They had to collect fruits from the forest and they ate that. Sometimes they hunted and they ate raw meat. They didn't eat cooked meat like we do. They ate raw meat. That was their life. So you can understand how different they were. They were the early man. Now, they did hunting with tools. So, as you already know, the early man had to hunt. so that they can eat the meat, and they can use the skin of the animals for different purposes. So they hunted. Hunting was one of their main job. So to do hunting, they made different kinds of tools with stones. They sharpened the stones and used them to hunt down the animals. So they made various tools of stone. They used sharpened stones as tools and hunted. Very difficult life. Life was really very difficult for them. Not only because they did not have any fan or electricity or any mode of transport, but because they had to fight to live alive. They had to be careful of the ferocious animals who lived in the jungles. They had to secure themselves from the natural calamities like flood or earthquake. So they had a very rough time at that period. So their life was really very difficult. Next point. Did not wear any clothes. In today's world, we love to wear different kinds of clothes. We wear cotton clothes, woolen clothes, leather jackets, and other various things. But at that time, early man did not wear any clothes. They didn't know how to make clothes. So, sometimes they were bare and sometimes they used leaves, animal skin. Sometimes they used leaves to cover themselves, and sometimes they used animal skins to cover themselves. You may have seen some of the cartoons of this era which shows human beings wearing animal skins. So they wore leaves and animal skin, and there were no clothes. Now, I would discuss some of the very important facts, very important phenomena that changed the life of early man. The first thing was discovery of fire. This incident changed the life of early man. With the discovery of fire, they could cook food, they could see in the darkness, and fire also threats the wild animals, so they can secure themselves with the help of fire. And they can also warm themselves during the terrible winter. So fire was really a blessing to the early man, and this changed their whole lifestyle. The next important incident is making huts and clay pots. Afterwards, early man knew how to make huts and how to make clay pots, and they started to live in the huts. They made huts and they lived inside them, and they left the forest. In this way, they could make civilization. They also learned how to make clay pots. They can keep their food in those clay pots. And the last thing that was really a blessing for them is the discovery of cultivation. Afterwards, they learned how to grow food. In this way, they can grow their own food. And the life of early man changed step by step with these discoveries, and civilizations started to grow. So this was all about early man. I hope you have understood today's class. Take care and goodbye.